Welcome. Fantastic. 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 Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. We did it. Here we are. We've made it to the finish line, which is the beginning of the show. By some strange twist of fate, I've made it. Through sheer willpower, I've overcome the darkness within, the self-loathing, and the absolutely paralyzing doubts. And I've entered into another episode of this show, which I do for nobody. How you guys like the new intro? No, I won't explain it. Should we start working on how I look? Should I just jump right in? Let's work on how I look, and maybe if I start to look attractive to myself, then I'll start saying things. Because right now, I don't feel like talking to you very much. I don't feel like you appreciate me. And guess what? Frankly, I don't feel like there's anything here to appreciate. I'm feeling down in the dumps. Why won't you help me? Don't you know I'm a sociopath? I need your energy. Feed me, Seymour. The intro's up. You can't talk to me. You can't make fun of me. You can't get mad at me. As long as the intro's up, you have no recourse. Nothing I'm doing is wrong. It's fine that it's like this. The intro button is up. You say, we already had an intro. That line doesn't work anymore. Yeah, back in the day, I didn't actually have an intro. I just jumped right in and I was immediately talking. But now I have this intro button and it's working for me. And it may not be working for you, but you're not the one who has to do a show. There's people watching me right now. And they demand a good show. They demand that I do a good job. And if I do a bad job, they're going to hurt me. And they're going to hurt my family. It's not a game. This is serious business. Please just be attractive. Just be an attractive person instead of a fat guy. Is it possible? Can you please look attractive? Please? My ops are watching. Jeez. Oh, well, hold on. One more thing I can change. Maybe the focus. Yeah. Hey, now that I like. Welcome to the show, everybody. I hope you're happy. I did a freaking show for no reason. All right. I got a talking to from my brother, and he said, it doesn't have to be funny. You just have to do a show. Actually, I kind of said that to myself. I don't have to be funny. I don't have to be funny. I just have to do a show. I don't have to be funny. I just have to do a show. That's it. Just do a show. Feel like I have to be funny. But that's part of me as a person, you know. When I'm around people, I'm either quiet or I'm trying to make them laugh. I'm very uncomfortable around people. I'm kind of gregarious on this show, kind of boisterous, kind of jovial on this show. But when I'm around people, especially strangers or people that I think don't like me, I clam up. I clam up like the proverbial clam. Well, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do some sort of show. I got pages and pages of notes. I think I'm just going to rely on them. You know, we got a thumbnail with all these different people on it. I made a video yesterday, which I'm going to play. Though it's insane. Though so was the intro. We're going for a completely insane person right now. That's kind of the vibe, I think. Completely unhinged. You know, I know my audience is people on the brink. That's my audience. And my job is to keep you from the brink. If I can keep going, so can you. You know what I mean? That's my audience. My audience is, you know who I'm looking to touch? Who I'm looking to reach? White males, specifically. White males in a society where they feel alienated and have no idea who they're supposed to be. Who feel depressed, anxious, suicidal, and are desperate for some sort of direction, some sort of identity, and some sort of explanation for why they feel uncomfortable in their own skin. That's who I want to reach. I want to reach the soldier who came back from Iraq and realized that he didn't even know why he was out there in the first place, and all of his friends are killing themselves and have PTSD. And he's trying not to get addicted to painkillers, but his war injuries hurt so much that it's hard for him to get through the day. That's who my show is for. My show is for people on the brink of society, on the edge of society. I don't care about the rest of you. I literally don't care about the rest of you. I care about the people like me. The people scraping by, the people clawing their way through the day. That's who I'm here for. The rest of you, you're doing fine. You're delusional, and you're probably going to end up in, well, who knows? Maybe you'll have like a transformation, but most people are blind, deaf, and dumb. They have no idea what's going on, and they're content to live on the surface of reality. This show isn't for them. You know, I don't pretend to have it all together. There's no pretense here. I am an unhinged man doing his best in a society all too eager to diagnose, prescribe, imprison, push to the side, demonize, vilify, and otherwise relegate into obscurity. I don't remember how that sentence started, but I think that ended. I think I could put a period there. I talked to a soldier yesterday. You know, because I'm a driver, so I drive people. You ever heard of it? I had a soldier in my car. Great guy. Great guy. And, you know, we're just having a nice conversation. You know, a lot of times I'll get like just another white guy in my car. And it's just like, we're speaking the same language. You understand? It's like we're speaking the same language. I don't usually talk to passengers. I keep to myself. But, Maria, can you let the dog in? Let the dog in, Maria. What is this? Constantinople? Give me a freaking break. We're taking it back. Brothers, we're taking it back. Brothers, we are taking it back. I'm trying to message my wife so that she lets the dog in. Will you let the dog in? Who let the dogs in? Nailed it. Do you guys remember when Mitt Romney was walking with a bunch of black people and he said that? Oh, that made me cringe.
Sorry, I can't hear anything.
It's all good. We should watch a clip of that. But let me put a reminder. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Remind me to play that clip of Mitt Romney in 10 minutes.
Okay, I added it.
Hopefully that'll be enough time. What's happening? I'm getting blown out again. It's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp. And you know, it's hard out here for a pimp when you're trying to save your money for some shrimp. And a man with a plan's got... What's happening? What's going on? Oh, it kind of like reset everything for some reason. That's really odd. Why would it do that? I have no idea why it would do that. Yo, shut up, dog. Sorry. So I'm driving him. I'm driving this guy. And he says, we start talking about, you know, God, and he starts talking about how the VA wants to put him on meds and they're constantly trying to find out, you know, what's going on and this, that, and the other thing. And he talked about how, you know, God is better than meds, that the meds are often not as helpful and often lead you down dark paths, but, you know, how important it is to have God in your life. And we talked about that. And he started talking about his brothers because he did a couple tours. And he said, my phone is a graveyard. He said, so many people that I know have either killed themselves or OD'd that I've started to wonder if I should even update numbers because I know the people aren't going to last. He said, people that I've respected, people that blew my mind, brilliant men, will go home and, you know, end up ODing on something, all this stuff. You know, that's why I do this show, I realized. I don't know if he saw it, but I started welling up. Like, I was so upset when he was telling me this. That, you know, these Amish people just send our sons to die. They send young white men to die for no reason whatsoever. Actually, for a reason, because they hate us. And they're killing two birds with one stone. Oh, I hate them. These guys are in my way, and I can use these guys to kill those guys. And they'll get killed too. And then we won't offer them proper treatment, and we'll demonize them, and they'll end up homeless and insane, and they'll all kill themselves, and no one will care. But I realized, you know, I'm not a soldier. You know, I don't go out there and fight. I'm not, you know, some vigilante in the streets trying to protect the streets. You know, I'm not. But what I can do is speak. And they can't. And so I want to talk for them. I want to be the voice. I want to be the guy who's saying what everybody's feeling, but they're not allowed to acknowledge. Because they'll be demonized, or they'll lose their job, or whatever else. Well, I'm here to say it for you, so that you know that I see it too. And guess what? A lot of people do. And you're not alone. That's where I get my masculinity from. I didn't fight any great war. My masculinity comes from speaking. From being willing to say the truth and damn the consequences. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't respect myself. And that's not to say I don't respect the people who don't. I do respect the people who don't, and I understand why they don't. the benefits of being an unhinged genius is that I can do it. I don't care what happens to me, and I must say the truth as I see it. I have to. And so that's who this show's for. This show is for other people like me, and there's millions of us. There are millions of white men on the edge of society who have no idea what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to go. And this country failed them. And the people failed them. Society failed them. The culture failed them. And they haven't even been able to recognize that. They're still seeing they're hating themselves, blaming themselves, and feeling like they're the problem. And they're not. They're not the problem. And that's why I talk. Because no, you're not the problem, white man. You're not the problem. You did your best. And you didn't realize that the odds were stacked against you, because the entire time they were being stacked against you, you were being told that you're the problem. You are not the problem. And the things that you feel are legitimate. Even if you feel like you can't talk about them, they are legitimate. And do not add shame to your pain. Let's watch that clip of Mitt Romney. Am I right, fellas? This is one of my favorite things that ever happened. Actually, when it first happened, it really disturbed me. I was like so ashamed of white people, but that's before I was awakened. All right. This is like when Joe Biden was talking about how he lets the black kids touch the hair on his legs. This is like... Where's the sound? What's going on? Oh.
Hey, I can be up here. Come on. Who's got your camera, though? Who let the dogs out? Who? Thanks, guys.
Oh, it still bothers me. It's just so...
Get warm around here, though.
Oh, he is so uncomfortable around them, but pretending that he's not. Who let the dogs out? Who? Doesn't it just make you want to explode? Doesn't it make you just want to jump into the traffic? I don't know. It just really upsets me. All right, what else is going on? I got notes, man. I have a whole plan for the show. Let's start with Billy Carson. Let's get Billy Carson out of the way. Can we get Billy Carson out of the stinky way? Can we get Stinky Bill out of the way? All right. Actually, before we get into Billy Carson, let's talk about the playlist that I released on Tuesday. How do we feel about it? Do we like it? Do we love it? Likes, dislikes, things that could be improved. I'll even put up the chat. I'll look at chat for a few minutes. I don't care. Hello, Lawrence. All right, so here's what I think. Here's what I think about the chat. Or wait, no, about the stream. About the playlist. Okay, so first off, let's talk about it. It was randomized. I had about 70 songs on it. I put it together on Sunday and kind of worked on the visuals over the weekend. And I just press play and just let it go for like 5.5 hours. Couple things. The way it began, it kind of jumped. So I don't love that, where it starts to play the song twice. And I could edit that, but will I? I don't know. I kind of don't mind things being not perfect. You know what I mean? I like almost all the songs that played. Let me see. I don't like how it ended. It ended with this song saying, it ended with a dark song. What was the song? It ended with something that I was like, yeah, that's not great. But it was like, the playlist was supposed to shuffle forever. I downloaded Winamp to do this because it had like a look, you know what I mean? I'm actually going to not look at chat for a minute. I downloaded Winamp because it really distracts me, makes me unable to think. So it's got to be one or the other. What was I saying? Yeah, I downloaded Winamp, made the playlist on there, and it was supposed to shuffle forever. One, it repeated a song, which I thought was weird because it didn't even play all the songs that were on that playlist. I think there was like dozens more. Two, it ended on a song that was bad and then it wouldn't play anymore. It just stopped. So I was like, okay, I guess that's the end of the stream. But it opened with so much, hopeful songs. Then it went into, I mean, it was random, but it went all over the place. Okay. I'm pretty happy. I'm happy with it. Overall, I'm happy with the playlist. I don't love how it ended. I'm going to do it again probably next week. I'm going to maybe update it, add some songs, take some songs off. I don't like that song that said, all my friends could die and I'd feel nothing. That was made in a really, really dark place, like 6 years ago. And that was before I became like serious about my faith. That was before I became Orthodox for sure. And it was just a dark place. It was a dark place. So I think I should take it off. Even though I found the song to be kind of interesting, you could tell I didn't put a lot of work in. Well, whatever. We'll move on. So there might be a song or two I take off. So I might add a couple songs. And I got to figure out how to make it end better. So that's how I feel about the playlist. Great playlist. I listened to it throughout the week while working, and I was like, this is great. I really am the greatest artist of my generation. It's a shame nobody knows about me. It's kind of unbelievable. They're all glazing these doodahs, these jabronis. They're glazing these silly gooses that couldn't hold a candle to what I'm doing. I'm out here releasing a 5-hour playlist and crickets. But I'm not bitter. I understand the nature of this world. And I could just as soon walk away from all this as I could continue. Lawrence asked me last show what I would do if it all went away. And I've thought about that from time to time. I try not to think about it because I don't find it productive to think about. But I feel like what would happen is I would know that it was time for me to stop. I also feel like it serves a purpose. I think music has helped me through. I've been through a lot of crazy stuff, and I believe that music has kept me going. I think I might have written something down. Music has been like the pressure release valve for me that's made me able to keep going. Sometimes my emotions overwhelm me to the point where I can't even think straight. You've heard some extreme songs on that playlist. They don't scratch the surface of how dark it gets, but it also gets extremely bright, but this has helped me through a lot of stuff, and it could be that that's the only purpose it ever serves. I don't need to be famous. I don't need to be a known artist. It could just serve that purpose. But the thing I think that I would like is for it to be able to help other people who are like me. Especially young white men. I feel like young white men are so directionless these days. And every young white man I talk to, I just feel sad and annoyed. Because I watch them glaze black people and black culture. And it's just like, Jay Dyer was talking about the Billy Carson thing, and they were like, we got him, we beat Billy Carson. And it's like, dude, the fact that you have to beat Billy Carson means we're already losing. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. Like the fact that it's like white people have already just given up. on themselves, on their culture, on their history, and they let people who hate them tell them who they are. It's so sick. It's disturbing. It's honestly disturbing. And this is coming from someone who used to be like that and still has to fight it off. You know, I still have to fight off the self-hatred of programmed white guilt, you know? Add to that being young and hyper hormonal. Oh my gosh. And just like, what do I have to do to get girls? Who do I have to be? What do I have to like? What kind of car? What kind of clothes? Like, I used to always talk about this. Even when I was young, I would be like, people listen to music like it's a fashion statement. They're not listening to what speaks to their heart. They're listening to what sounds good coming out of their car. And again, that's just surface people, you know? I don't know what to do with surface people. I don't know how to reach you. I'm not over there. I'm deep below the waves. I'm hanging out with the fish that light up and do strange patterns. It's called Colossal Squid Records for a reason. I'm deep down. You know, I don't even understand you people. But it hurts me to see it. It hurts me to see you worshiping black culture because you can do so much better. It's like killing the potential in you. When you worship black culture, you're basically you're giving up on the immense potential within you. Let's talk about Billy Carson. All right, so if anybody knows, Billy Carson is like a black guy whose eyes point out to the side like a fish. And he thinks he's smart. He's like the Terrence Howard of 2024. Like last year we had Terrence Howard with his bubble wrap saying that he understands the universe, and everybody's just looking at him like, what are you talking about, dude? But Joe Rogan believes him because, I don't know, I don't know what's wrong with Joe Rogan. I think maybe he's been kicked in the head too many times, you know what I'm saying? But the guy is like, I don't know, he suffers from a thing that I'm going to get to in a minute, which is anything but Jesus, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, for some reason, he was fascinated by Terrence Howard, who was clearly dumb. And then he became fascinated by Billy Carson, who's clearly dumb. Forgive me, I'm sorry, but these people are dumb. Anyway, Billy Carson's the new one, and his whole thing was Jesus was never crucified or Jesus never existed, you know, disproving the Bible. And the thing, again, this is what Jay said, the fact that we even have to enter into a debate with somebody like this shows how far we've fallen because he's bringing nothing to the table. For example, his first argument against whether Jesus was crucified was the Sinai Bible. Most of you already know this, probably. That's not a thing. When he was talking to this West guy, West was like, by Sinai Bible, do you mean the Sinaiticus Recepticus or some crap like that, which is a collection of the earliest Greek writings? And Billy Carson, who had no idea what he was talking about before he said Sinai Bible, immediately was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And West turned around and said, well, okay, so first off, the Sinai Bible is just, what did you make that up? Or is that just like some weird edition that you bought? Like, you know, like the Harley Davidson Bible, like just what did you buy? You know, there's Bibles that just write in pidgin, you know, like pigeon, like the man took the poo-poo in the toilet. You know, did you put the man on the cross? But the man was good. You know what I mean? Like, is that what you're reading? Is that what you're talking about? Like, Billy, what are you talking about, Billy? Anyway, because he didn't know what he was talking about, he went with what Wes was talking about. He said, yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat the words you just said, but I know them. Yes, And then Wes is like, okay, well, this has all the Gospels, and they all talk about how Jesus was crucified. And then bro goes, I misquoted. Who were you quoting? Yourself? What do you mean misquoted? Do you mean misspoke? Misquoted? You're the one talking. I misquoted. That shit, or like, why are we even listening to this guy? He's like those guys that you know, like the black guy that talked to Jordan Peterson and he just used a bunch of words and tried to show his intelligence with verbosity. It was like anyone who's not like really, oh gosh, I hate that this show is about dumb and smart people, but I mean, anyone who's not a dum-dum saw that guy debating Jordan Peterson and was like, this guy is, he's a little, you know, he's a dumb guy and he's pretending to be smart. And the way dumb people pretend to be smart is by using multisyllabic words that they don't understand. Multisyllabic? And just like stacking them up and thinking that that's what intelligence is. It's like rap music. People are asking, ooh, who's the fastest rapper? Who did the most metaphors? Like they think that stacking words makes the best art. Do you understand? Like that, it's just like a dumb understanding of how things actually are. Very non-nuanced, very rudimentary and childish. Anyway, so he said, oh, I misquoted. What I meant was the Gospel of Barnabas. Misquoted. Who did you misquote? Who'd you misquote? You said that. You misquoted. You didn't say somebody said that. You just said that. And then I misquoted. I confused the Sinai Bible with the Gospel of Barnabas? Oh, I can understand the mistake. They sound very similar. So you got the Sinaiticus, Recepticus, the old Greek manuscripts from going back to I think they even have stuff from 90 AD. You got that mixed up with a forgery that came out in the 1300s, a known forgery that came out in the 1300s. That also probably doesn't even back up your point that Jesus wasn't crucified. So the guy was already cooked. And then he said he misquoted again, I think. He just kept saying he misquoted. What do you mean by that? Misquoted. Who are you misquoting? Is there somebody else talking? Are you misquoting the person in your ear? What are you misquoting the demons that control you? Oh, sorry, demons. I didn't realize that's what you meant. I misquoted the demons. They said Gospel of Barnabas. Anyway. So this is I don't need to go further into the debate than that. After the debate, he tried to get them to take the debate down and made a fool of himself with that. Said that he came to their house at like 2 a.m. and was like, please take that down. Not because I lost. I'm just a serious man. And it was just like, bro, like you are flailing. You're floundering. You're so out of control. But really what it was is he's like, the con is up. I don't know how this guy got propped up into a place of prominence in the first place. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess I do. He got propped up because apparently our nation has become retarded. But also they're just looking for any reason to not believe in Jesus. And so they'll literally take anything they can get. Anything you offer to them, anything you say to them that disproves Jesus, they'll take, because with Jesus comes a responsibility to do better, and they simply don't want to. And so it doesn't matter how flimsy the excuse is. It could be a forgery from the 1300s posing as an ancient manuscript. It could be a version of the Bible that doesn't even exist, that the guy just made up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how flimsy it is. You just need to hear something so that you can dismiss Christ and get back to the business of sinning. I shut out the thought that God was watching. It got in the way of what I wanted. Y'all remember the song? It was on the playlist on Tuesday. So, the last thing I want to say about Billy Carson, maybe two things, is Billy Carson only exists because Christianity has been decoupled from the church. So every dumb thing that we've already dealt with is returning. None of this would be able to happen if the Bible were in its proper context, which is the Orthodox Church. People like Billy Carson aren't doing anything to people like me. They're doing things to people who were raised nominally Protestant and are struggling with, verses that they don't understand in the Bible because they have no tradition. They don't have the church fathers. And so they took it. They took the Bible from its proper context, removed it, and then picked it apart. This is not Christianity. This Bible says that the pillar and ground of truth is the church, and that the Bible is a liturgical book within the church. Yes, it has infinite wisdom to offer, but taken out of its proper context, it is endlessly up for interpretation. That's why Christ gave us a church, was to protect the truth. But the attacks of those, I'm assuming Amish people who, it was basically like this. The Pope decided that he wanted to be king of the world. So his pride caused him to fracture the church in a way that has caused so much chaos and pain that it'll take 1,000 years to fix it. And when they fractured that new church, where he became this three-kinged God, three-tiered, three-crowned God emperor, king of the world, infallible, guy, this set up an unease which grew for 500 years in the hearts of the Catholics, the Roman Catholics. Like someone is wrong, like an oppressive person who they're wrong, but they won't stop, and they have the authority. And if you go against them, then he says you're going to hell. You can't tell me I'm wrong. You'll go to hell. You know what I mean? Like this insane pride, which led to the Reformation, which led to people taking the Bible out of the church, reinterpreting it. And now we have Mormons, we have Jehovah's Witnesses, and we have Billy Carson's, and we have it's endless, the chaos that has come from the 1054 schism. But decoupling it, the protocols of the Elder Zion talk about something like this. They talk about decoupling man from his nation. This is a very effective tactic, because then you don't have to attack the bulwark. You can take things piece by piece and attack them separately. You scatter them, and then you can attack them. So they also talk about separating man from nation, from national identity. Hence, billboards in Ireland with a black Muslim, and it says, "I'm Irish," and everybody just has to nod along, because apparently being Irish means nothing. It just means you're over there. And once they decouple a sense of nationhood, a sense of brotherhood, which is an extended bloodline, once they decouple them from their place, then they can pick it apart and destroy it. So this is a very effective tactic for the devil and his minions. All right, the final thing I'll say about Billy Carson is the only way for him to recover his grift at this point. Hey, Billy Carson, I know you're watching this. Sorry about being a racist. The only way for you to recover your grift right now, you actual con man, and not even a good con man, like a con man for dum-dums, like pickpockets are better con men than you. You know what I mean? Like people with cups are better con men than you. But the only way for you to recover your con is to become Christian now. Now hear me out. If you say, my eyes were opened, I didn't realize. That debate sent me on a path of self-discovery, and I realized that I had been wrong the whole time. Then you can renew your grift as a Christian, quote unquote. So just putting that out there. That could be your next move, because I know you won't ever actually change. Maybe you can change. Maybe you can actually be a Christian. But if not, you can pretend to be a Christian, and then, you know, the grift continues, and you can have your live-in maid or whatever else it is that you claim to have. I do this out of a shoebox in Nebraska, but I don't lie, so it's not as lucrative. Sexual conquest is the realm of the godless. All right, I'm going to play something. Let me check chat real quick. I'm going to check chat real quick. Nothing going on in chat right now. Is the stream working? Stream's working. All right, we're all good. Everything cool. All right. I did a skit about the Hawk 2. Did it change again? It did. What is going on out here, man? It changed again. Why does it keep doing this? I don't understand it. Whatever. I did a video about Hawk 2 girl. I just think it's crazy that she's famous for spinning on a penis. That's why she's famous. That's why she's now known. And boomers know about her. And they think it's funny. They're like, Hawk 2. I just don't understand the country I live in. Like, I feel so ashamed of my country. If Anthony Fantano is a real one, he'll be able to appreciate my art, even though I'm someone he would hate. If you're a real art, if you're truly a music critic, truly an appreciator of art, then you'll be able to recognize that I'm the greatest artist of my generation, even though you personally disagree with everything I say. You understand? But I don't think you're true. I don't think you're real. Hey, Fantano, I don't think you're real. If you were real, you would be able to listen to what I'm doing and say, this man is the greatest artist of our generation, even though I disagree with him. And if you can't do that, then you're not real. I watched the Owen Benjamin documentary. That was weird. I don't know how I felt about that. That guy's kind of confusing. He's got this feeling, he's got this thing where it feels like he needs validation. Otherwise, I like him. I mean, he's Amish. And I've heard him, my friend tells me that he's blasphemed Christ quite a bit. So that, but maybe he's reformed about that. I don't know. And apparently he's scammed like a lot of people, according to this documentary. But also, you know, He's off the plantation, unless he's part of it. I don't know. It's hard to know. Did it do it again? But there was elements during this documentary that was kind of hit piecey that I was like, nah, I kind of vibe with that. Questioning everything and not taking any of the narratives. And I think he doesn't think the moon is real. Something weird that the sun is 400 miles away, but the moon, but it's also 400 times the size of the moon. So they happen to be the exact same size. And how weird that is. What I find weird about the moon is that you never see the other side of it. Supposedly, like you only ever see the one side of it, and that's true. So, what the explanation is that it rotates in tandem with the Earth, so that no matter where it's going, it's always the same part facing you. But even if that were true, that's very, very, very strange and very unlikely. Finally, I was thinking about something. You know how the Bible says he separated the waters from the waters? I had a thought in my head. I don't know if I could really illustrate it. And I don't think it's going to make any sense. In Genesis, it says he separated the waters from the waters. And I thought, I always wonder what that would look like. Let's just get rid of whatever science has told us. Earth is round, heliocentric, whatever else, that's fine. I don't care. But let's discard that for a second. And let's just entertain the idea. Calm down. I'm not that. I'm not that kind of person, but let's just entertain the idea. That instead there was some sort of like vast plain. Some vast water. Right? And then another one. Another one. What the heck? All right, hold on. Let me flatten this. Right? So it's something like this. Maybe maybe we can expand this a little. And that there's some sort of like, again, I'm not like a flat earther or anything. I don't think. But it's like thinking, right? Something like layer. Underneath you put like just a layer of black just to illustrate. This is just, my mind. This is just me thinking. Hey, this is just me thinking out loud, okay? Let's not go crazy, people. This is just me thinking out loud. Don't read into it too much. I urge you not to read into it too much. We're just having a thought experiment as a team. So then we go like this. No. We'll have to do white. And we'll have to go smaller. Oh. Something kind of like that, almost. Maybe I'll do it like slightly. There we go. Almost like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that we exist in this space right here, you know? We exist in this space. And that's our entire reality. Is this space in between infinite water. You could probably darken up the water a little bit. But like, you know, I don't know. If one day science was like, actually it turns out that we exist in this space between two infinite bodies of like plasma, I'd be like, hey, all right. I'll believe that. And I can't confirm any of this. Like some people are like, dude, I did the math. I did the math and A plus algebra plus calculus plus AI computers plus, you know, Goodwill Hunting chalkboard means that for sure, you know, okay, that's fine too. I don't really dabble in the realm of the unknown. I think, you know, I've accepted that there's things that are just unknowable to me, things that I can't confirm or really understand. You know? That's okay. I don't have to understand all of it. Like I was talking to Lawrence on Tuesday. I don't understand everything about God. We're not meant to understand everything that's going on with reality. Some things are beyond us. Some things are beyond us. And I don't think it's wrong to reach and to try and understand. But I do think it's wrong to pretend to understand. I think it might be wrong to assume that you know. Though you would probably say, well, you assume you know that God is real. Well, that's different. That's logical. That's just, that's logically sound and internally confirmed. Logically sound and spiritually confirmed. That is just a truth that is unshakable. Most people are sitting here looking for temporary, very transient evidences for something that contradicts what they know deep down inside is true. You know, God is real. We all know that. Deep down, we all know that. To assume otherwise would be absurd. No, it wasn't the porcelain doc. I don't know who it was. It was like a new one. I don't like porcelain. Porcelain did something, and I attacked him in a comment somewhere. I realized that he's an op. But I'm not necessarily like a Owen Benjamin guy. I don't really know how I feel about him. I don't think I have to have an opinion on him. Okay. I'm debating whether I should play this inflammatory video that I made yesterday. It's kind of crazy. I'll read this. I don't know if it's good, but let me read it. This goes back to Billy Carson, for example. I'm mad at myself for not being so skilled in rhetoric and sophistry that I can dismantle and destroy publicly people like Destiny and Billy Carson. These people are destroying lives and souls. These people are sick, and they spread their disease with every live stream and podcast appearance. I wish I had the words. I feel stupid that I don't. Destiny's moral relativism is a putrid, pus-filled wound. He is drenched in death and decay. He's just so cut off from the truth that he doesn't know it. There will come a day where it will hit him like a planet, and I think it will be too late. Billy Carson exemplifies not only the intellectual laziness of our nation, but the desire to assent to anything as long as it's not Christ. The fact that he has been on Joe Rogan, the most watched show on earth, makes me shudder. How dumb must we be to consider this man anything more than a self-assured moron? I can't live in this world much longer. Something has to be done. We must purge, or we will die from this poison. So that. Also, as the phone becomes more ubiquitous, the need for your surroundings to be interesting, meaningful, beautiful has been disregarded, and everything has become ugly and meaningless around us. You look up from your phone and everything is drab and ugly, so you quickly return to your phone, and the deterioration continues. Have you guys noticed that since phones became kind of ubiquitous, that the world around us has become uglier? Like there's no need for upkeep because nobody's looking at it. And so what happens is the people that are looking at it desperately want to look away. So it kind of reinforces looking at your phone. Like everything is just made out of like tofu and pretzels, and everything's ugly and gray and just meaningless. And you just look around and nothing's beautiful. And so you just keep looking at your phone. And so they just make it uglier. Everything falls into disrepair and gets uglier and uglier. And it just makes you look around and go, oh, I'll go back here. And it's just like this kind of vicious cycle. When someone gets diagnosed with a personality disorder, the world can comfortably dismiss them. They take a person with pain and draw a box around him, and then the individual traits that make him are disregarded. He is the box now, and now you understand the hurting man even less. Real. What they truly want is docility, agreeableness, and an aversion to making waves. And when you find yourself unable to be that, they will label you as a defective model. And if they can't figure out what your defect is, they will invent a new one. This is what I'm thinking lately. You know, they're constantly inventing personality disorders and mental illnesses and all sorts of stuff like that. And what it does is it reduces a human being to a diagnosis. And it makes all that that person has and all that that person is just this little disregardable thing. You're looking at a man in pain, but no, he has BPD. He has narcissistic personality. No, he's just this. And then you could just, oh, he's just that. And then you look like you're looking at a horoscope and waiting for it to tell you what you want to hear. You look at the traits of someone with NPD, with narcissistic personality disorder or something like that. And you say, oh, he does that. He does that. See, I knew it. And then bam, that person is no longer a person to you. That person is a made-up disease. It's a disease, a made-up disease. Maybe they'll make medication for it. Yeah, it's a made-up. He has a chemical imbalance. Too much of this chemical, not enough of this chemical. What? What are you talking about? Well, you see, the brain is like a bunch of chemicals, and you need at least 300, fluid ounces of green, and what? They don't know what they're talking about. What they're doing is they're diagnosing people so they can dismiss them. So anybody who isn't a productive member of society, anybody who isn't fitting in the way that they want them to, as a cog in the Zio machine, they can label as a defective model. And then everyone else does it with them. Get them into the psych ward Or just get him to talk to a psychiatrist. Psychiatrist will give him something that'll just break his brain and make him nothing. Oh, look, he's docile now. This stuff must be really working. Or don't get him on medication, just disregard him. Hey, don't worry, he has this. He actually has this, you know, and it's just, I don't know. The psychologist has replaced the priest in people's lives, and all spiritual disorders have been labeled mental disorders. Chronic, unfixable mental disorders. This is who you are. Not you are a man struggling with demons, and if you continue to struggle, you will have your reward in heaven. No. You are paranoid, schizophrenic, whatever, maybe not paranoid, whatever. You are this, you know, you're this thing, and this is what you are. You know, put them in a box and then disregard them. Again, and you're probably thinking that I have narcissistic personality disorder or something like that. I don't. Not just because none of that's real, but I also don't even fit the bill. But also, say someone did. Does that mean they're not a person? Does that mean they don't matter? These are spiritual issues. These are spiritual issues. I think it helps to think about things like this so that you like are wary of people, you know. But you should have been wary of people to begin with. Or not. I don't know. Never mind. All right. Spaceboy showed me a song recently that was really good. I retweeted it on my SoundCloud, so check that out. Most people, even the ones that call themselves musicians, have no access to anything valuable. So when I meet someone who can, it does have an impression on me. You know, a lot of people call themselves musicians, but I don't see them doing anything. It's just like, okay. They're making music, but it's like, okay. Like, if you don't have access to that thing that makes something transcendent, then what the hell are you doing? I don't get it. I asked AI who the most famous people were for a thumbnail that I'm going to make. Or I made it. I'll show you it. This is probably coming out soon. Coming to a theater near you. This thumbnail. Uh-oh. Am I going to get in trouble? Nah. And it said, it put Muhammad before Jesus. So, okay. Also, they removed Hotler from the Google search, and all the pictures are just of some guy. Like, there's no pictures of Hotler anymore. If you go on Google, it's just some guy. You're like, who the heck is this guy? Here, look. Did I lose my show? What happened? Oh, okay. That was weird. What was I doing? Oh, you guys want... Okay, I'm going to show you this. Did it change? It did it again. Yo, I can't win lately. I don't know what is going on. It did it again. Crazy. All right. Look at this guy. I don't know this guy. I ain't never heard of this guy. This is just some guy. Oh, wait, no, that's him. Never mind. But look at this. Look at this. Who's this guy? That's just some guy. Look at that guy. Kind of a scary guy, huh? It's weird when they colorize him. It's just like, wait, that's just like a guy. He stops taking on that epic nature that he had, and you're just like, that's just like a guy. It's a guy in a nice outfit. Look. Look at him. His name could be Jonathan Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? It's just a guy. I don't know. Whatever. Do you know that Eminem opened up a shop called Mom's Spaghetti? A fast food place called Mom's Spaghetti, or like a restaurant called Mom's Spaghetti. Who would eat there? He literally named it after his vomit. How is that a smart business move? Who's thinking of this stuff? Mom's Spaghetti. They make a bunch of spaghetti-inspired dishes. It's named after the vomit from the 8 Mile song. He named the restaurant after vomit. It's a restaurant named after vomit. Hawk 2 is famous for hawking a loogie onto a penis. Eminem has a restaurant named after vomit. It's the most disgusting culture ever conceived. This is worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. This is like the sewers beneath Sodom and Gomorrah. A lady had sex with like 100 guys in a single day, and they filmed it. She's like famous now for sleeping with all these guys. My wife told me about this. She said the cameraman went in and almost threw up because of how bad it smelled in there. They said that one of the guys, when he left, he couldn't stop sobbing. He just kept crying. I was like, oh, boo-hoo. Nobody forced you to do that. But I don't know. I'm just saying it's, my booty hole brown. You know what I'm saying? You think you the SHIT, you ain't even an FART. We live in a disgusting society. Wretched. Really disgusting. You named the restaurant off after you named the restaurant after vomit. Okay, that's all. One other thing. I think Irish and Sicilian is a good combination. I'm Sicilian and Irish, and I have decided it's the best combination. But there's a lot of parallels between Sicilian and Irish. We came here at the same time. We were both ostracized and hated and called the N-word. Not only that, but back in Europe, we were also considered subhuman for some reason. The Irish were considered subhuman, and so were the Sicilians. The Irish were considered subhuman by people in England. The Sicilians were considered subhuman by people in Italy. We're actually brilliant. We're just very passionate. That's another thing. Irish people and Sicilian people are the most passionate people. Also, the most musical people. And finally, they both come from traditionally Catholic societies that have been attacked over and over and over again. Now, Catholicism isn't good, but I'm just saying there's parallels. And I think that we can seed America and really become the face of America. So I recommend all Sicilians and Irish daughters marry sons, both back and forth, not in a conquest way, in a new identity way. You know, I think we have to forge a new identity in America. And I elect Sicilians and Irish. Okay. Oh, I forgot to start my episode with a joke about black women. Jeez. From now on, every episode, I start with a joke about black women. Let's see. Why do black women wear weaves? Because they wish they were white women. That joke is dedicated to self-proclaimed proud monkey Kendrick Lamar. Shout outs to you, brother. Every show will be doing that from this point forward. And that wasn't racist. I didn't call him a proud monkey. He called himself one. All right. Feeling good. Feeling good about the show. How long have I been doing it for? An hour. Should I play this video? Should I play this unhinged video? All right, I will. I'll play the unhinged video and we'll see how we feel together as a team. How do we all feel about this video? I don't know how I feel about it. I know you put me alone with my thoughts and things happen. You know what I'm saying? And this is an example of that. Let's talk about miscegenation for a minute. The implications of it, what it means. Miscegenation has and always will be an act of conquest. Most sexual exploits, especially for men, almost exclusively for men, if they're not in the form of marriage, are about conquest. And anyone with any form of actual masculinity is offended by miscegenation because they see it for what it is. Your race is your extended bloodline. And if you're a man, you feel an obligation and a need to protect that bloodline. And when people come along and interfere with that and take your women and make them theirs and put their kids in your women, it is an act of conquest and it offends the senses. So when we see this, we are offended. And when people do it, they know what they're doing. We live in this age of darkness where people pretend like it's not happening or pretend like it means nothing. And really, the people who pretend are just extremely feminized or benefiting from it. They're they are conquering. They are part of the conquest. They're enjoying the fruits of it, and they understand that part of the rules is pretending that it's not happening and that it doesn't mean anything. So people say, oh, well, what about a white guy with a black girl? Or what about a white guy with a Asian girl or something like that? And it's, yeah, that doesn't bother me as a white guy, but it bothers her father. It bothers other Asians. It bothers other blacks because it's an act of conquest. I was at Benihana yesterday. First time I've ever been there. And there was a black family. And their mom was dating a white man. And there was this white man at the table with this black family. And one of the sons could not hide his rage. He couldn't even, at a fancy whatever restaurant, could not hide his distaste for the fact that his mother was with a white man. It offended him to his core. He couldn't shut up about it. And I thought there was going to be an altercation. My brother and I are sitting there at Benihana and we're getting ready to fight somebody. Because we're like, if this guy attacks this white man, we're going to F him up. Well, at least that's where I was. I don't know if my brother was like that, but he would probably have to be involved if I did it or not. I was getting ready to do bad things to this guy because he was getting ready to do bad things to this white man because this white man was dating his mom. It offends all of us, and it's only effeminate men that pretend that it's not offensive. That's it. It's effeminate men and people who enjoy the conquest. Real quick, that's people who E. Michael Jones talks about how that's essentially homosexual culture. Fruitless sex with multiple partners. All right. That pretend it's not offensive. And this goes even further than just miscegenation. Men are offended when they see a good-looking woman with an ugly man. That offends us because it's not as things are meant to be. When you see an uggo fatty with some model-looking chick, you're like, what the hell is going on here? And guess what? That often offends women. Women will be like, what are you doing with that guy? You know? But also guys will be like, we'll have a thing where we'll look at a girl like that and we'll say, oh, I could take her from him. And we'll start rubbing our hands. Yeah. Look at her. I could steal her. Because we're conquering. If you see an ugly girl with a handsome man, you start wondering what's wrong with the guy. What, does he have a micro penis? What's going on here? What the heck's wrong with this guy? Why is he with an uggo? The fact of the matter is we have and recognize that there is an order to reality. And when that order is upset, it offends us. So when it comes to something like, oh, a white guy dating an Asian or a white guy dating a black, you think it's harmless, but that's because that's you doing the conquering. It's still harmful. You are hurting someone else. And then you say, okay, well, what about the fruits of that? What about what about mixed children? Well, here's the thing about that. Mixed children need to choose a side. It's not the end of the world. It happens, but they need to choose a side. What will often happen with mixed children is they'll marry like a white guy. But if you marry that white guy, you have to relinquish your cultural benefits of that other race. You can't marry a white guy and then play for the black team or play for the Asian team or what have you. You can't sit there and be like, oh, you know, stop Asian hate or BLM. No, you've married a white guy. You've chosen a side. Now act respectful to that side, because there are sides and there are demarcation lines, and this is warfare. This is soft warfare. And anybody who pretends it isn't is either cucked, dumb, or winning. Another thing about this is this miscegenation thing is people will try and shame you out of talking about this and make it like it's an insecurity thing. Amish tactic. Making it so all of your legitimate concerns are actually indications of a deep underlying issue. That's kind of like Amish psychological manipulation. So they say that these things are unnatural so that you are ashamed to talk about them. And this society has shamed people from talking about this thing, which offends almost all men to their core because it's wrong. And you shouldn't let them do that to you. You shouldn't let people shame you out of your legitimate concerns. A lot of times it'll be women that do it, and women do it because, they're trained to, and they want to look virtuous. And that's kind of women's main trick, is like a trick in the dating game is trying to SHIT test you, try and shame you and see if you fall for it, or if you stick to your guns in spite of their shaming you, and show them that they are not the power. They don't wear the pants, that you will not cater to their silly opinions. And they need that. And once you do that, they become aroused. It's very attractive to them. They're like, oh, an actual man, not some simp that will agree with whatever I say just to get in my pants. That disgusts them. So no, you have to say the thing. When a woman tries to shame you out of saying the truth, say it louder. But this is a very Amish trick, because Amish are very effeminate. They want everybody else to handle their business for them. They want everybody else to to fight their battles for them, and they want to trick and manipulate people because they feel weaker. Women are very good in the art of seduction, manipulation, stuff like that. They can get a guy to do things, and a guy won't even realize that she got him to do it. Well, the Amish are very skilled in the same thing. And so they benefit from multiculturalism. They benefit from a people with no identity. That's their greatest desire, is that you have no identity other than the identity they sell you. They also benefit financially. People don't unionize if they're in a multicultural environment because nobody trusts each other. So yes, they want this for you, because if they have this, you can't rebel against them. You can't organize. If it's a multicultural society, you can't organize against devious elements. The devious elements can go about unthwarted. Unencumbered, because you will not organize with a bunch of people that you don't trust and that you know aren't like you. You can sit around and pretend, but I think we're past that now. Can we all agree that we're not the same? 2024, can we all agree that we're not all the same? That it's not a melting pot? That there are inherent differences in the races, and we will never be like them, and they will never be like us? That's why multicultural workforces don't unionize. That's why we don't come together. That's why anytime, like after Occupy Wall Street, anytime we go after the people that are actually in power, they use their force in the news agencies to create racial tension, so we fight each other and then take the pressure off of them. So yes, they benefit from you being shamed out of speaking against miscegenation. They benefit from you being ashamed to speak up for white identity, for the values and principles of European people, of white people. They benefit from shaming you out of it. It's a very, very beneficial thing. Then they can do their cloak and dagger subversion throughout our societies undetected, because nothing means anything. Don't fall for it. Be a man. Stand on business. You are not wrong. The things going on in your heart, when you see something wrong in the world and it upsets you in your heart, don't add to the pain shame, like you're wrong for feeling it. You're not wrong. The world is wrong. Society is wrong. I've just freed you. You are correct. It upsets you because it's wrong. Let's talk a little bit more about conquest. And this is why I keep bringing up Kung Fu Kenny, the self-proclaimed proud monkey, is because I think he exemplifies the conquest that's happening here. When he puts out a call to action to not allow a white to criticize black women. Now think about that. That is cultural conquest. He's saying this is what you're not allowed to do. And people are listening. People are apologizing for allowing whites to criticize blacks. People are having to backtrack. The culture is turning against Andrew Schultz, who is a hack, but whatever. Think about how black people talk about white women. Think about how black people talk about white anything. Think about how the culture talks about whites. They call a white woman a Karen if she does anything other than be a whore. Unless she's a moralist, soulless husk who just is hypersexualized and passed around, then they call her a Karen. Any woman with a spine and a sense of morality who wants things to be good, they call her a Karen. Any white woman. They call white women all sorts of things. They call them hoes. They call them bitches. They degrade them. They make songs about degrading them. They'll talk about them. There's no limit to what they can say about our women. There's also no limit to what they can say about us. And we just sit there and take it. That's cultural conquest. The fact that we allow crap like that while they have calls to action if the opposite happens, even in the slightest regard. Nowhere near the disrespect we have to endure. But if they even have to endure the slightest disrespect, then there's a call to action. Do you understand? Do you understand that that's cultural conquest? We have been demoralized so that we're unable to stand up for ourselves. We're unable to vocalize in defense of our own people, in defense of our own values. But everybody else is allowed to, at our expense. This is lowering your testosterone, just so you know. This is your team losing. When people's teams lose, it lowers their testosterone. It hurts them. It hurts them in a way that's physiologically measurable. When you allow them to talk how they want about you, and then tell you that you can't talk how you want about them, you have ceded ground, and you have cucked, and your testosterone is lowered, and you're one step closer to being a destiny-like man. This is warfare. This is soft warfare. They know it. They hate us. They are our enemies. It's you who has refused to read the memo and has refused to calibrate accordingly and advocate for your people, your values, and protect your women as they are protecting theirs. When your white daughter is dancing to some black buffoonery, some rap song that degrades women and says a bunch of retarded crap, when your daughter is dancing to that, that's cultural conquest. You are being conquered culturally, and it's not by accident. This is done on purpose. And it's done by the Amish, who promote this degenerate black music to our kids. When your dumb white children care what a black person thinks about them and seeks black approval, that's cultural conquest. They are seeing them as powerful. They are seeing them as above them. They are seeing them as someone that they need to ingratiate themselves to.
That's cultural conquest. Recognize that. This isn't a peaceable situation. We're not sharing each other's cultures. No, this is cultural conquest. And unless you recognize that, you won't be able to see, you won't be able to understand what's happening in your heart. All right, final thing I'm going to say about this conquest stuff. Racist is what they call you when you recognize your enemy. Never forget that. Racist is what they call you when you recognize their enemy, your enemy. In the same way that anti-Semitic is what they call you when you recognize your enemy, or when you even start getting a scent. It's to discourage you from recognizing who wishes you harm. That's how insidious this is that these people won't even fight you head on. They pretend to be your friend. They pretend to be your comrades. In truth, they want nothing but your destruction. They enjoy it when you suffer. That's the truth. Black people do not like you. They like it when bad things happen to you. They think you're evil. They think you're bad. They want your destruction. That's true. They talk about how much they hate you. They say it to your face. They call you evil. They say you're a white supremacist. They tell you you're oppressing them. And yet they do not leave. They want your infrastructure. They want your tax dollars. They want everything they can get from you. And yet they despise you. It's a very Amish thing. Amish people, they fleece you for everything you have. They take everything they can from you. And they sit there and pretend that they are one of us. And if you start to notice that they've been spitefully using you, hurting you, taking what's yours, violating you, and I'm talking about both Amish and black people now, if they notice that you notice, then what do? They call you racist. They call you anti-Semitic. Shut it down. Do not let him notice what we're doing to him. These people hate you. These people wish you harm. It's that simple. And they will take everything they can from you. And they have. And they've beaten you down mentally so much that you've accepted it as normal, what they do to you. And you accept their narrative about who you are. You accept your enemy's narrative about who you are. You ignore your heart that says that you're trying your best. You ignore your heart that says you want peace. That says you that you'll make sacrifices so that we can have unity. You ignore that part of you. You say that must not be true. My ancestors must not have shared this either. I must be the evil thing that they say I am. And so you hang your head and you allow them to do what they wish to you. These are your enemies, and they live in your country. These are your enemies, and they subvert your children, and they hurt your women, and they manipulate your culture, and they trick you into abandoning your God. These are your enemies. Plain and simple. Nothing more. And until you recognize them as such, they will continue to do whatever they want to you. It is not until you grow a spine, recognize what they are, and stand up for yourself that this will stop. You ever notice that they're so quick to tell you what you can and cannot say, what you can and cannot do? Dung Poo Kenny telling you what you can joke about? Have they ever asked you if what they're doing hurts you? Do they care at all? Of course not. They're your enemies. They hate you. And yet you bend over backwards trying to please them. And they lap it up. Insidious is the word. Insidious. They'll take everything they can from you because they despise you. Because they have no character. And because they're not like us. They're not like us. They don't have character. They don't have morality. All they have is give me. All they have is resentment. All they have is glee in seeing you suffer. Understand that they're your enemies and understand that we're at war. And then let everyone else pick a side. Are you going to choose the side of the Amish and the blacks? Or are you going to choose the side of the whites? Are you going to call us racist and play the pity card and do the histrionics and try and ingratiate yourself into the black community and the Amish community, who hates you, by the way? Or are you going to relinquish the BS and side with the people that made the free world? The time is coming where everyone will have to choose. The time is coming when white people will no longer tolerate lies. And it's coming quickly.
Okay. You know, you work all day and things just... This is so comprehensively based. Thank you, man. I get to thinking, man. You leave me alone with my thoughts and I get to thinking. You leave me alone with my thoughts and I just get to thinking. I don't know. I don't know what else I have. I think I have something else. Hold on. Give me a second. I decided I don't have to be funny today. I can do a show. It doesn't have to be a funny show. I could just do a show. It just has to be good. Doesn't mean it has to be hysterical. Oh, this is funny. J-Reg was on iHypocrite yesterday. I was thinking about J-Reg, and I was like, what's the J stand for on this dude? You know what I'm saying? This guy's really riding the fence a lot, brothers. What's the J stand for in this name? What's the J stand for, brothers? And then the next, literally while I write this down, I have it written down. He's on iHypocrite. So I think the J stands for Justice for Zimmerman. I don't know. Am I right, people? Guys, am I right? I should say this. This is just a joke. I just wrote down this joke. I said, next false flag attack, let's just, jump in. Instead of being all scared, let's just start murking these turkeys. Jokes. That's a joke. I'm joking. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, every time they do a false flag attack, we're all just like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do to our villages. Uh-oh, the minorities are angry. I wonder if they're going to burn down my home. How about we just be like, All right. Enough. Okay, but that's a joke. We shouldn't do that. Look, man, I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a soldier. And I don't want violence, and I don't want warfare. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking. These are the thoughts. They're in my head, and I put them out there. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, I think we need to decouple from Israel. I think we need to kick the Amish out. Full stop. No, just full stop. And I think that it would be good if the races, the ones that are that have a lot of animosity towards each other, should separate. Black people hate us. Okay, we'll see how you guys do it. I'm sure you'll do fine. If Liberia is any indication, I'm sure if we separate and you guys just do your own society, your own tax dollars and all that, they'll be, well, no, now hold on just a second. That's not fair because of 400 years. We're going to need your tax dollars. Wait, but I thought you hated us. We hate you, but we love your tax dollars. And we love your infrastructure. And we love your inventions. And we love your pity. And we love your guilt. We just hate you. I don't want war. I don't want violence. Why do you think I'm so upset? I want the wars to stop. I want the violence to stop. The wars are from Israel. The violence is from the blacks. I just don't want any of that. I want a nice thing. I'm like a hobbit. I'm kind of like Frodo. I want to sit in a cozy situation and read a little book and I have my bare feet and I'm just like cooking snacks. They foisted the ring upon me. Now I got to sit around and be part of this epic adventure of multicultural chaos. But I don't want any of this. I want a cozy life. That's all I want. I don't want riches. I don't want power. I want a simple, cozy life. But you can't have that, brothers. Not in the world of the chosen. Not in the Balfour Declaration times. No. So don't get mad at me, because I don't want anything bad for anybody. I love my enemies. When I talk about how these people are my enemy, recognize that I love them. I'm just tired of it. And I love my brothers more than my enemies. And I want us to have nice things. I know what we want. And it's not what they want. They want rims. They want expensive things. They want 100 baby mamas. They want, a closet full of sneakers. They want, that's not what we want. White people just want cozy. We just want simple, cozy. We want to read a book. We want to hang out with friends. We want to discuss art. We don't need to be the flyest nigga in the room. We don't need to sleep with all the baddies. One wife, just like God intended, Adam and Eve. Got a simple life, a friend group. No white wants more than that, except for the ones that have been molested or something. Or the ones who have been propelled into greatness, like myself and Hotler. But really, I'm just a hobbit. I just want a hobbit's life. I'm Frodo. Bro? Sorry. I don't want any of this crap. Why do you think I watch British movies? Did you ask? Did you ask if I only watch British movies? Almost exclusively. Why? Because I just like cozy little stones and people hanging out in taverns. It's like that 4chan thing. Like, I was content to play video games and be a silly goose until I died, but you foisted this upon me. There's a 4chan thing about this. I'm sure I have it saved somewhere. Should I search for it? I could. I could search for it for a minute. I don't think it would be the worst thing ever. All right, I'll search for it. It's in like this thing where it's like I have all this stuff. But you probably seen it. It's this 4chan thing that was very strange. It was just like we were fine. We weren't looking for anything from anybody, you know. But of course, we are by proxy blamed for all these other things that we have nothing to do with, things that we did not agree to. You know what I mean? We're blamed for all of it. I'll find it some other time. I'm going to take a break.
You tired of listening to music's like the equivalent of eating a mayonnaise sandwich? Why don't you get yourself a big New York sausage hot dog?
Why don't you get yourself a New York hot dog? Why don't you get yourself a hot dog sandwich? Why don't you come on over here?
GlossonSquidRecords.bandcamp.com. GlossonSquidRecords.bandcamp.com.
You tired of making bad decisions all your life? Why don't you make one good decision once in your life and buy my freaking music? Why don't you go ahead and go buy my music? Why don't you buy my music? Huh? Why don't you go ahead and go buy my music right now, huh? Buy my stupid music, alright, jerk? What are you, polyamorous? Buy my music. Come buy my music, hey, come on, click the link, go to the sink, take a drink. We got a CDs and tapes of it. Buy that stink, cause you know it's stinky, cause we get funky over here, people. And I ain't no funky monkey, man. Colossal Squid Records, bandcamp.com. Yeah, you can listen to it on iTunes. Yeah, you can listen to it on GuyTunes. You can listen to it on Rhapsody? Do I look like a swarthy gentleman from the South? Or do I look like a Sicilian scam artist? Hey, I'm just keeping it real. I'm just like you. Hey guys, you want to support my stream? Come on back, buy my music. It's nothing but pressure, and it's no pressure. Just come and do it. Then put it in your boombox and oosh, baka. We about to have a freaking flying carousel, carnival, clowns, people flying around, light up buildings, fluorescent lights, a bing bong, da 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 dang 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 dang. It's a carnival. It's a horse ride. It's these fireworks. Oh great, now the white balance is off. What is this? The fight balance? What do you want a punch? What do you want lunch? When you say camera phone, you sound anachronistic. Hey, I'm taking a picture of you with my camera phone because this guy hasn't even bought my music. Hey guys, check this guy out. Apparently this is what it looks like when you don't buy Colossal Squid Records music. Ooh. You choose to look like this? Don't you know that if you buy my music, it changes your genetic makeup and gives you a better physiognomy? That's a fact. That's not a lie. That's a fact. Why are my hands this color?
You tired of listening to music? It's like the equivalent of eating a mayonnaise sandwich. Why don't you get yourself a big New York sausage hot dog?
Why don't you get yourself a New York hot dog? Why don't you get yourself a hot dog sandwich? Why don't you come on over here?
BostonStreetRecords.bandcamp.com. BostonStreetRecords.bandcamp.com.
You tired of making bad decisions all your life?
Pray for me, brothers. I'm working night shift. It means drunks, thoughts, throw up people, large groups. Not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Who else is in the thumbnail? Father Seraphim Rose. You know, and I made him bigger than everyone else. And I gave him a giant aura. I didn't give myself an aura. I don't know. Let's look at the thumbnail. Let's meditate on the thumbnail together for a moment. Okay? Okay? Say it back. All right. All right, so here's the thumbnail. So that's Jared Kushner. That's, you know, the... Oh, I've already forgotten his name. I talked about him earlier. He doesn't matter. That's Kendrick Lamar with a crown of thorns on his head that he put on his own head, comparing himself to Christ or something. I don't know. And I wrote too late on his head, and I won't explain what that means. I put tears down his eyes. Then on this side of me, I put Braveheart. No, not Braveheart. The Patriot. And I think he's the only one making eye contact with the viewer. And Seraphim Rose. Father Seraphim Rose. Saint Seraphim Rose. I like this. Oh, I also put like Infinity Hawk 2 girls at the bottom of the screen. Which is great. That's just art. Hey, that's just art. Maybe you're not into art. But I don't have much else to say. I think it's self-explanatory. What I will say is this. St. Paisios said, America will be holy. He said, mark my words, America will be holy. I think an identity is being forged. I think the identity of Enlightenment value, colonizers, what's the word? Colonials, whatever, it's not enough. And you can't really have a nation without a people. And the Amish have worked diligently to make sure that there is no people here, that this is just a collection of specimens. Essentially a zoo. Not a biome. Not something symbiotic. Just chaos. That they can extract whatever they need from. So we need an identity. What will become of us? Well, if America will become holy, and I believe that it will, then America will become orthodox. Do I think that black people will become Orthodox? I don't think so. I think black people could barely be Protestant unless you made Jesus black for them. Unless you had a black picture of Jesus, they were like, nah, dude, I hate you so much that I can't, that even if somebody looks somewhat like you instead of me, I reject them. So I don't think, I doubt it. I doubt that black America will become Orthodox. I think we will have to separate ultimately. And they'll return to whatever pagan voodoo this guy is pushing. A lot of calling yourself gods. A lot of pantheism. A lot of self-worship. Materialism. Jealousy. Greed. Envy. Violence. Self-worship. That sort of thing. I don't know. Is it possible that they can become Orthodox? Maybe. There's a battle in my head. I don't know. Maybe they can become Orthodox and still separate. That I think is possible. I think if the Ethiopian church relinquishes, that's good. Yeah. The Ethiopian church can relinquish their heresies and become part of the true faith. I don't think that we would have a problem accepting the Book of Enoch as canon even. I actually think that. I've talked to priests who have said as much. That if the Oriental Orthodox Church were to relinquish its heresies and join the faith, we would not negate their culture and negate everything else. We would accept everything that can be accepted, as we have throughout history with every culture that we have introduced the faith to. And I think that if the Ethiopian church became part of the true church, I think that would be a path for Black America that they would be willing to go down. They might have to go through some Rastafari to get there. But Rastafari, don't even bother. It's just a bunch of made up stuff that you have to be stoned to follow. But you could take the path of Rastafari back to Ethiopian Orthodoxy, and you could take Ethiopian Orthodoxy back to true Orthodoxy, and you can have a Black America that is truly Reformed and Orthodox. But I still think we should separate, because I think because this is BS. We would separate naturally. It's only through activism and subversion that we keep getting pushed together. And also their desire to take everything we have. Oh, nice thing over here. Let me extract everything I can from it. Let me become a destructive element within it. But it's not the end of the world for people to separate. It doesn't mean hate. It means it's a beautiful thing, you know? Then we can actually appreciate each other. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to invite me to the barbecue. You know? There can be a mutual respect without pretending that it's anything more. You know what I mean? Not that they respect us at all. I don't know what they respect. Yeah, they respect, expensive stuff and sexual conquest. I made a video about sexual conquest. Let me play that real quick. It's pretty good. Something I was thinking about yesterday. Uh-oh. Is it not going to make noise? Sometimes it doesn't. Sexual conquest is the act of the godless. They can say they believe in God, but they don't. They can pay homage to God, but whether it's religious, whether it's sanctified in their false religion, like in Islam, or they're doing it in spite of their religion, It is the act of the godless, because God did not make Adam and Eve and Lisa and Mary and no, he made Adam and Eve. We were meant one man for one woman. That was God's intention, and that was iterated over and over again throughout the Bible. And it is the teaching of the church which Christ himself planted. So the very act that we find so common in this day and age of sexual conquest is the realm of paganism and godless heathens. It shouldn't be tolerated at all. It literally shouldn't be tolerated. And the fact that it is tolerated, it creates a great upheaval in all of society, because it makes those who do things correctly feel like they're missing out and feel like there's something wrong with them. Those who want to do things the right way watch these other guys spend their lives in the pursuit of vagina, and they think that they're doing something wrong, especially when they're young. When they're young and all they want, and their hormones are confusing their mind, they can't even see. They see people like Andrew Tate and they think that this is a person to admire because he sleeps with so many women, because sex is about conquest, not about procreation, not about God's design. No, it's sex is an act of conquest. There is only two realms, you know. Sex is either an act of conquest or you live in God's way. The conquest is fallen nature. Conquest is the act, is paganism. Conquest is godlessness. Marriage is Christian. Marriage is godly. Doing things the right way. Doing things the way God intended. And that goes for everything we do. This is the fallen way, and that's why, and it should not be tolerated. It should not be accepted. We should not accept this promiscuous culture. What we should do instead is create laws that create order and make it so people are not allowed to do these sorts of things. Because what these things do is they ruin the pair bonding and they cuck men. When every woman has already had a man inside of her before she marries her husband, it causes a deep wound in the relationship that can take decades to heal or may never heal at all, and often just leads to divorce. It's a difficult thing for men to get over when they know that the woman who has pledged their life to them has been conquered by other men. And it's only effeminate men that act like this is not the truth, or men who are doing the conquering, or women who are trying to look, I don't know. Their opinion doesn't matter. Truly, their opinion doesn't matter in this. They're directionless. They need guidance. I don't know about laws. I don't think you necessarily need laws. I think there should be laws for adultery. But I think that's the point of the church and the state. You know, back traditionally, a nation had its church, you know, like the Greek Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church. That's how it's supposed to be. That way you have the morality of the nation governed by spiritual leaders and the safeguarding of the nation governed by temporal leaders. So I think there should be laws against adultery, no-fault divorce, obviously. We have to rewrite a lot of these laws. But I think if you establish the church, and enough with this BS, enough with this multiculturalism, enough with this, you know, this religious pluralism, like, no, to be American is to be Orthodox. Gosh, That's how it was in Russia. To be Russian was to be Orthodox. In fact, there's I knew a guy from Russia who said that the word Russia means Orthodox or means Christian. In Russian, there's like this thing. I don't know how they do it, but basically, the word Russian means Christian in some way. I don't know how he said it, but I don't know. To be Irish meant to be Catholic. Well, to be Irish should mean to be Orthodox. To be American should mean to be Orthodox. It should be synonymous. That's what a kingdom is. That's what a nation is. It's a shared ideal. It's a race, a shared ideal, a shared sense of a shared goal, a shared identity. We've become so accustomed to the chaos of this squalid landscape. We don't even understand that that's what we yearn for. What I'm talking about is what you yearn for. You just don't realize it. We don't even recognize it. We just feel unhappy and we don't know why. It's because our culture is sick. It values evil. And it shames us out of being good and doing things God's way. All right, I'm done. I got so much to do today, guys. Fellas, I got a lot to do today. Pray for me. Pray for me, please. Please pray. Please pray for me. I'm a fool and a sinner, and I need your prayers. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
In a garden brimming with gold and green, no mosquitoes, no predators, no need. I can see you staring beyond my dreams. I can hear you singing a song of peace as a wave of love washes over me. See the light like diamonds shine through the trees. Every breeze whispers of eternity. I am finally where I'm supposed to be. Next time that you see me, don't. Next time that they see me, they won't. Next time that you see me, don't. Next time that they see me, they won't. Next time that you see me, don't. Next time that they see me, they won't. Next time that you see me, don't. Next time that they see me, they won't. They won't. They won't. They won't. They won't.